Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. Looks like we have talked a lot about methods, different kind of variable types and positional parameters, optional parameters and the normal arguments. So in this one, let's talk about the scope of the variables that we use inside a method. So let's bring up the PyCharm and when we're gonna love this thing with the help of a couple of examples. So a variable inside a method that we define is having a local scope. And what does that mean? This means that it cannot be used outside of the method. So let's say if I define a variable called a here, 10, which is independent, it's outside of any method, right? And then if I define a method called maybe, let's just call it a test method. I don't know, just let's keep it simple, right? What I can do is I can just pass a here, right? It's definitely not this a, right? Because it's gonna be called from somewhere outside. So don't worry about it. And then I can just, let's say I'm just printing out the value of this. So value of local a is something like that, and we can say a, right? So you can notice the colors, right? These both has orange color, so this is a white color. Basically these two are different because they are inside the method. This is the method definition, it's outside. So whatever argument that we pass into this method when we call this method is gonna come into this a, it's not this 10, right? So that's what I'm trying to show. So now let's change the value of a here to maybe 2, right? And then let's again do print new value of local a is, and let's print a up here, right? And when we call it from outside of the class, now let's print up here, print value of I can say something like global a is, and then a, and then, so if you guys know, or you have already seen a lot of lectures on methods, right? So we are not basically uh, calling the method till now, it's just the definition, and it doesn't mean until we actually explicitly call the method, right? So we have to call the method to execute this part, otherwise these two statements are not going to have any effect, right? So you can see this in example. So let me just run this code. We get an error here, so can't convert this, so I have to say str, I have to typecast it to string. Same with these things, so let's kind of convert it to a string, otherwise we're gonna have issues. So str and a, right? So because print statement, we have talked about it, right? Print statement is only a string representation, so it just shows in string. So right now it shows value of global a is 10, right? Which is this print statement, and both of these print statement didn't even execute because we haven't called this test method yet. So now let's call this test method a, and now pass our a variable into it, and then again print. So what I'm doing here is I'm first calling this print statement, which is going to say value of global a is, and a, which is taking this value, if you guys see that, right? And the value of this is 10, which we just saw. Now I'm calling this method test method, and I'm using the same a, the same value 10, right? And I'm calling this method with the parameter or variable a. Now this a will take the value here, and then we're gonna print the value of local a is str a, which is gonna be this, which is basically I'm passing the same one, and then it's gonna assign 2 to a, and then I'm gonna print the new value of a is this. And then let's say if the value of our global variable, which was defined outside the method, did it change or not? Let's see this thing. So did the value of global a changed, right? So let's do this, and plus a, and let's run the code this time. So we should see some interesting results. Again, typecasting, sorry guys. So alrighty, so now what we have here is value of global a is 10, which is this line number 12 print statement, and then we call the test method, and then line number 8 executed, value of local a is 10 because we have passed in value 10 here, and then already it went away, and then it says the new value of local a is 2, which is this. We had just assigned 2 to a, right, which is this. And then we finally again print out the value of our global a, which we are accessing from outside, basically because, so basically we are just accessing a. If you see, we are not telling Python that we are accessing from outside or inside. So now it says, did the value of global a change? And it says 10. So basically 10 is still this, right? Because inside the method we just changed the value to 2, and that's what we just saw here, right? But still the outside a value is 10. What does that mean? That even if we change something inside a method, it only has a local scope, and these things apply only to method. So whatever my global variable is, it is gonna stay unaffected and it's not gonna change at all. So that's what I wanted to talk about, that the global variables don't change inside the method, and the local variables inside the method, they only have the scope of the method. These variables just got disposed or garbage collected as soon as the method ends. So we are not accessing any of this a outside of the method. When we are accessing the a here, it's the global one. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. So let's say if I want to change the value of global a, what should I do in that case, in that scenario? So let's comment out this code, or maybe just copy first and then comment out and then paste it so we can use it. So now if I want to change this a, I want to access this a inside of my method, what I can do is I can use a keyword called global, which is going to tell Python method or Python that whatever variable that I'm accessing is a global variable. So just go ahead and look back in the file, that if you see a variable called a and it is it available there, and if it's available there, just use the value of that variable. So what we can do is we can just remove the value of a from here. We can just get rid of it because we're gonna use this global one. And what I can do here is something like that, that I'm just gonna say global and a. So now it says that, dude, just go ahead and use the global variable a for me, and then I'm printing the same thing, value of local a. Basically because I'm printing inside the method, I'm saying it local, but value of a, I can say something like this to make it more readable. Inside the method is this, and then I'm gonna change a to 2, and value of a again inside the method is changed, or I can say changed to this, right? And then, so before calling this method, we're gonna call the original global a, and then we're gonna call the method to change the value, and then we're gonna see did the value change, right? So we're gonna do the same thing, and let's try and run the code. So when I run the code, it says let's examine it. So let's pin this code, right, this window right now. So value of global a is 10, which is this first statement, which is line 24, which is correct. The value of a is 10. And then it went inside the method, it says value of a inside the method is 10. That's correct, because, so take a look closely guys, we haven't passed in any value. When we call the method, we haven't passed in any value. So right now, because of this global a declaration, it's using the global variable, global value of a. So it says yes, value of a inside the method is also 10, it's using the global one. And then I changed the value of a from 10 to 2, and then I printed out something called new value of a inside the method is changed to 2. Yes, it did change. Line number 21 it changed, and we're printing on line number 22. And then afterwards, after calling this test method, I'm trying to see whether the global variable's value changed. So what I'm doing is I'm just again using the same statement. Did the value of global a change? And I'm just using this a, and it says 2. Yes, indeed it changed. So that means that we can change the value of these global variables as well by using the global keyword. So that's pretty much it guys. Actually that's what I wanted to show you. So it might be a little bit confusing guys, but don't really worry about it, because you guys just get used to it when you practice, as I always say. So I'm just putting these single quotes to make it more readable, so you don't see the a as a normal English a, it's a variable name. So that's pretty much it, guys. So because we're using A in both the places, so just comment one code at a time and then run the other, and then comment one and run the other, or maybe you can just put them in separate files as well for you to practice. So just download the code, guys, refer it, practice it as much as you can, and let me know if you have any questions. So stay tuned for the next lectures, guys, and thanks for attending this one. Thank you.